Welcome to another presentation at the East Trade Winds, a chapter of the World Referral Network, hosted by Bernie Fransgrud and Wayne Pratt. The presentation today is titled Unlocking the Secrets of Successful Franchising. Our guest is Ray Glover from Glover Franchising. Ray has a long history in corporate America. He started his career in New York City, working for Fortune 100 companies like Xerox, IBM, DEC, and Microsoft. Ray decided to pursue real estate development and joined Walmart as a real estate director and spent 10 years there learning large-scale commercial real estate development. After Walmart, Ray joined Starbucks and moved to South Florida to build out locations needed to support the company's growth objectives. After Starbucks, Ray began looking to purchase a business and learned about the benefits of franchising. In that process, he learned how franchise consulting allowed him to use his emotional intelligence and business development skills to help people while earning a living. He has been helping people turn their passions into profits for the last 2 years and loves it. His business tagline, "We help you turn your passions into profits."
I'm going to speak a little bit to what a franchise is, what are the advantages, disadvantages of a franchise, and then speak to a little bit about what I do, funding options, and so on. So just starting off, what is a franchise? Basically, a franchise is a license to use a trademark by a company. Franchisees, who are those purchasers out there that are looking to get in the business, are actually licensing that right from a franchisor to use their trademark. In addition to that, they are also getting the operational manual that is used in that franchise. What are their methods and procedures to actually make the business flow and run? Those are also licensed as part of that franchise agreement. And then the franchisor does exercise some control over the franchisee's business, and they also support the franchisee by providing marketing support, training, and R&D support for new products and services that they offer down the road. For all of these things, the franchisee actually pays a fee, which is also part of being a franchise. They pay a fee to the franchisor in the form of a royalty or an ad fund that goes to the franchisor. All of these things are regulated by the Federal Trade Commission. You cannot be a franchise without having what they call a franchise disclosure document, or FDD, that is approved by the FTC. So that's basically a general description of what a franchise is. Now, there's two different types of franchise formats. The first is what they call a business format franchise, and that basically is a franchise that sells products and services like I previously described. And that's where most of the franchise world is here in the country. And then there's a second type of franchise called a distribution franchise, similar to Coca-Cola, where they just license the product and they distribute that product through distributors around the country. Gasoline's another example, where they have gasoline stations, but they just license the gasoline product to distributors or gas stations out there. Automobiles are similar as well. Some of the things and services that you typically will get from it with that business franchise that we talked about, the business formatting franchise, is of course name recognition from the franchisor. McDonald's or Burger King, everybody knows those names, and IHOP and so on, those names. And so that brand recognition comes along with buying a franchise. Some franchisors will provide site selection support and site development assistance. So if you're doing a retail site, they help you with locating the right space and building out that space in which your lease should look like. So they provide real estate site selection and lease management. They provide training for you as a franchise owner, as well as your management team. They get to go to training at headquarters and typically learn how to run the business directly from the franchisor. As I mentioned, R&D on new products and services. As the franchisor uses those ad dollars and the dollars that come from supporting them to develop new products, they would typically roll that out to their franchisees, and the franchisees don't have to spend extra money on new products, how to expand their product offerings and increase their ticket. So it comes from the franchisor. They also provide typically field support to the franchisees. They'll have what they call a franchise business coach that goes out to the franchisees and help them to develop the key KPIs and make sure they're meeting those KPIs to develop a good business, because the franchisor want successful franchisees so that they can continue to support and grow their system. And then finally, marketing and advertising support, that's always been there for most franchises. You're going to see that happen. They'll do everything from create a website for you to providing marketing collateral and doing SEO support as well. Now, some of the advantages of a franchise and owning a franchise would be one, some of those supporting mechanisms from financing, from training, from grand opening support when you open up your doors. Typically, your franchisor is going to come out and help you along that process of getting your doors open. They're also going to give you regional and national advertising, some of the bigger franchises, their operating procedures, ongoing supervision and management support of how to manage the business, how to build management within your organization. And you typically have increased spending power because you're part of a larger organization. So that also is part of being in a larger franchise system as opposed to an individual mom and pop kind of business. Some of the disadvantages, one, you don't completely run your business yourself. You do have some oversight from the franchisor. Franchisees must also pay a royalty, as I mentioned, and an advertising fee typically as a disadvantage. And then if a damaged system, if a brand has a damaged name, it can hurt all franchisees. So franchisors are very keen on being very strong at vetting their franchisees, so to make sure that they have good franchisees throughout the system so that they don't have a bad reputation or name. And then finally, these agreements are typically 10 years in duration. So if you want a business for life, you typically will have to renew your franchise agreement after 10 years. And typically that will happen. But if things aren't going well between you and the franchisor, you could have a limited life in that business. So some of the disadvantages. As a consultant, one of the main things that I do is make sure that I match up. And I was getting to some of the things that I do, which is matching up the right franchise with the individuals. I typically take 30 to 45 minutes with a person, identifying their skills and experiences, what their passions are, what they're good at, what their financial capacity is, what kind of business model are they looking for, and then match those things with the right franchise that is out there. I have over 800 different options to choose from, everything from automotive to alternative healthcare to vending machines to senior care. You name it, I've got typically a franchise for that individual. And it allows me not to have to push any particular franchise. It lets me identify what's the right franchise for the. A little bit more about what I do. I generate leads through posting on social media. I go to portals. I advertise on portals. I do a lot of networking. Those are the key ways that I actually generate leads in the first place. And then once I do get those leads, I'm understanding, why do these people want to get in the business? Everybody has a reason. Typically, folks are coming from corporate America, or they have a career change and they really want to get into childcare instead of what they're doing today in corporate America. I take those whys and basically use those whys to, again, help me to identify what this person's looking for. I build a profile on their skills and experiences. What kind of ownership model are they looking for? Some people are looking for emerging brands versus mature brands. And the difference there really is emerging brands are better for people who like to have a lot of input in shaping the franchise system versus a mature brand like a Neighborly, who's been around forever, has a program that's been in place for a while. So that's what I do. I also help funding. A lot of folks are using what they call their 401 rollovers, or ROBs. They're rollovers into your own business as opposed to investing in Fortune 500s. There's HELOCs, there's SBA loans. There's definitely different kinds of ways of financing a franchise. I can help with the financing piece. I can help with due diligence. Due diligence typically takes a process of about 7 to 8 steps. Everything from the review of the franchise disclosure document. The validation is also a process that's included here in due diligence. And validation is where you actually get to talk to franchisees and ask them all different kinds of questions about, is it a good franchise to own? Are they getting good support from the franchisor? And so on. Those are the steps that you go through, and I help along the way as well. And as I said, my consulting fees are zero to the franchise owners, because the franchisor community actually compensates me similar to a real estate person. Geographically, I cover all of the US and Canada. So anybody who you have that has interest in any of those markets, I can help.
Ray, just one question there is, person has a small business and they want to franchise. Do you help them get into that arena with all the paperwork, the documents, and just to get them started so they become part of that list of 800?
Yes, I do. So I work with a partner. They actually have taken over 250 different concepts to franchising. And they take, you need to do about $200,000 in gross revenue today before you get into franchising. Otherwise, it's really not worth it for you to do it. But if you're at that level, one of the partners that I work with, they actually take you legally, trademark your name, any intellectual property you have. They help you to write your FD. They help you to write your owner's manual. They help you with the marketing materials, all of the things that you need to go legal. And then they pass you back over to me and I help you find franchisees to support your
Okay.
system.
Final question though, what's the ROI on getting into a franchise typically after 3 years?
Most of the franchises I work with typically doing anywhere from 25 to, but depending on the service, there's some services out there that are making, I have 50% kind of margins. But I would say typical is going to be 25 to 30% kind of margins after break even.
Unlock the full potential of networking with the World Referral Network. Are you eager to connect with our esteemed guest speaker and delve deeper into the ever-expanding universe of the World Referral Network? Simply scan the QR code now and embark on a journey of endless opportunities. Join us at East Trade Wins, where we gather online every Tuesday from 8 to 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out, you're welcome to connect with us and other chapters across the World Referral Network. Seize the moment, register for free, and start exploring today. Fancy sharing your insights as a guest speaker? We're looking for you. Reach out to Wayne Pratt to ignite your speaking journey. Email him at motivateyou.ca or connect with Wayne on LinkedIn. Don't wait. Take action and be a part of a global community that's shaping the future of business networking.